Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a regular school board meeting. Today is March 6, 2012, and it's approximately 5:30 in the evening, and we are at 1900 Price Road. Moving on, as we stand for a moment of silence in our pledge, let's please keep in mind some of our employees and past employees who have recently passed. We have Dora Saldaña Lozano, who passed on the 19th, who worked as a paraprofessional for us. Clarisa Hinojosa Garcia, who passed away on February 12th, who worked as a teacher and a supervisor. Joan Todd Walker, who passed on the 16th of February, who worked with us as a paraprofessional. Alma Briceño Barrera, who passed away on February the 19th, who worked with our district as a teacher. Margarita Attaway, who passed away on the 20th of February, who dedicated her life as a paraprofessional here with our district. Sandra Luz Serbin Torres, who passed on the 22nd of February, who worked with us as a teacher. It's been an interesting past couple of months. Please rise for a moment of silence, followed immediately by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Moving on to roll call, all board members are present. Moving on to item 5, recommend approving the agenda of the regular school board meeting of March 6, 2012, with any corrections and deletions. Dr. Montoya, any corrections and deletions before I suggest changing the order of the day?
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, we do have some extra information on number 10, consent agenda, A, general function. Item 15, page 241, will be replaced with 241A. On item 11, closed meeting, A, personnel matters. Item 30, page 440 will be replaced with page 440A. Item 35, page 452 will be replaced with 452A. Item 36, page 456 will be replaced with item 456A, and that's is all.
Thank you. With those changes, I'd like to also suggest moving the order of the day. I would like to suggest moving item number 15, to follow immediately after public audience, so right before number 6. So after public audience, we go 15 and then 6. I would also like to change the order of the day in the sense I would like to move items 18 and 19, move it into into personnel matters.
17.
Yeah, 17 and 18, move it right before item 27 under personnel matters. With that said, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I have a motion by Mrs. Presa, seconded by Dr. Saavedra. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously.
I objected to the change in that the items have been discussed publicly before, specifically 17.
Thank you, Mr. Colunga. Your objection is duly noted. Thank you.
And also for the record, yes, because the information that I'm asking has been discussed numerous times. So I was just going to ask. So I object to that.
Okay,
also,
your objection has been noted.
Because it's a question to our.
Mrs. Peña, your objection has been noted.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Colunga, Mr. Aguilar, and Mrs. Peña object to moving the order of the day. That has been
On 17 only.
has been duly noted. Moving on to item 6, recommend approving the minutes of the special called board meeting of February 15th, 2012, with any corrections. Are there any corrections from the board? If not, I have a motion to approve. I have a motion by Dr. Saavedra, seconded by Mrs. Longoria. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to consent agenda. The board has agreed to discuss and/or deliberate the following agenda items. All the others will be approved via consent agenda. So we will discuss and/or deliberate the following. Under consent agenda, we will discuss and/or deliberate items number 9, 13. Of course, 17, 18, 19, which have been moved to another location. 26. Under personnel matters, we will discuss and or deliberate items number 30, 33, and of course, we will discuss consultation with attorney. So, just to reiterate one more
39.
time.
39, board self-evaluation.
Yeah, well, that's always. So we will discuss and or deliberate items number 9, 13, 17, 18, 19, 26, 30, 33, and of course, consultation with attorney. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I have a motion by Mrs. Presa, seconded by Dr. Saavedra. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to conference presentation, item number 1, TEMA Distinguished Administrator Recognition BISD Board of Trustees. Dr. Montoya.
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, we'd like to recognize for honorable distinguished distinction a TMEA, Texas Music Educators Association Distinguished Administrator for 2012 for outstanding commitment to preserving quality education for all students. And this is being awarded by the Texas Music Educators Association. Dr. Rendon, if you'd please step forward.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, and members of the board. The Texas Music Educators Association recognizes select upper-level administrators across the state who have been instrumental in preserving quality fine arts programs in their districts. Through this program, TMEA has provided the opportunity at the state level to thank these individuals for their dedication and support. At the local level, this provides the opportunity to share many success stories with our community. Districts across the state were provided with the opportunity to nominate individuals who were worthy of being recognized as continuous supporters of fine arts. We automatically thought about our school board. We, the Department of Fine Arts, were asked to tell our story as to why our nominee deserved to be designated as a TMEA Distinguished Administrator. Well, given the state of education funding and the continuous struggles at all levels to keep quality fine arts programs in our schools, our school board has always been very, very supportive of fine arts. Our board has been very vocal about the importance of fine arts and recognizes the incredibly talented students that we have right here in our district. They understand that our students need to be provided a well-rounded education that includes fine arts. It is very obvious in BISD that students will always be provided a quality fine arts education because of the board's support. Hundreds of nominations were reviewed, and I am honored to say that BISD School Board was one of the groups selected. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Escobedo to accept this esteemed award from the state of Texas, which says, "The Texas Music Educators Association, in gratitude and respect, awards the BISD Board of Trustees the honorable distinction as a TMEA Distinguished Administrator for outstanding commitment to preserving quality fine arts education experiences for all students."
Thank you, Dr. Rendon, for this wonderful recognition on behalf of the entire board. Like you said, I accepted it, but it's to the entire board. So thank you and your department for the great work that you do and for this wonderful gesture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have something else for this item?
Well, we continue.
Item 2. Okay, we'll just go right down to item 2.
We'll just keep going
Okay.
down.
We have them all.
Recognition of moving on to item 2, recognition of Hannah High School A Cappella Choir, SWACDA, I'm not sure if that's pronounced a certain way, performance. Dr. Montoya.
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, 41 girls from Hannah High School's a cappella choir qualified to perform in the Southwest American Choral Directors Association concert on March 3rd in Dallas. And the choir directors, Gene Holcup, assistant directors are Victoria Crossan and Lizette Ochoa. Dr. Rendon?
Yes, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, and members of the board. I would like to ask Mr. Dennis Pitcock, Supervisor of Choral Music, to present our honor choir students and directors from Hannah High School.
Good evening, Dr. Escobedo, Dr. Montoya, and members of the board. The Southwest Division of American Choral Directors Association is comprised of 8 southwestern states from our country. For the first time ever, Brownsville ISD had a school invited to perform at SWACDA Clinic Convention, a most prestigious invitation. This past weekend, the Hannah High School Varsity Women's Choir performed a beautiful concert at the convention held in Dallas. I am pleased to present these young women to you, along with their director, Gene Holcup. Assistant Directors Victoria Crossan and Lizette Ochoa were unable to attend. At this time, we would like to present a plaque on behalf of the Brownsville Independent School District and the Department of Fine Arts to the Hannah High School Varsity Women's Choir for their outstanding achievement.
All right.
See, all those times singing in the shower paid off. That's where we make the best music. Congratulations. 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 Good job. And such beautiful Good job. You've got talent. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Good job. Good job. Good job. Oh, are you going to say something? Oh, what? You do both? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you for your dedication.
Congratulations. So much for the dedication.
Christy,
All the way back.
I guess we do this thing.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. All the way back, ladies. All the way back.
all the way to you kind of touch them. Kind of squeezing the switch. Make sure you don't cover the whole body.
Ladies, great job.
Thank you, Dr. Rondon, and again, congratulations to our Hannah High School ladies, the A Capella Choir. Dr. Montoya, Ms. Brown, that's a great picture for our website. Moving on to item 3, Dr. Rondon is still up there. Recognition of the Vela Middle School A Capella Choir TMEA performance, Dr. Montoya.
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, we had a unique group this year, a middle school, to be invited to the Texas Music Educators Association state presentation in San Antonio. Rarely do they invite middle schools, but this is an outstanding group from Vela Middle School. This is also the first time in the history of BISD to have an all-women's choir perform in San Antonio, so it's quite an honor. Dr. Rendon?
Yes, again, I would ask Mr. Pitcock, Supervisor of Choral Music, to present our honor choir students and the Vela Middle School Choir.
The TMEA All-State Convention is one of the largest and most respected in the country. To be invited to perform for one of its conventions is something many directors strive for, but few attain. This year, Vela's a cappella treble choir was invited to sing and performed a stunning, exquisite concert for a large, receptive audience. I am proud to introduce the choir to you, along with their director, Melody Erickson, as well as Principal Robert Gonzalez. At this time, we would like to present a plaque on behalf of the Brownsville Independent School District and the Department of Fine Arts to the Vela's a cappella treble choir for their outstanding achievement.
Necklace. Oh, y'all look so beautiful. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Make us proud. Congratulations. You're so elegant. All dressed up. So where y'all gonna go? Congratulations. Congratulations. Make her proud.
Congratulations, honey.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We're proud of you now. Congratulations. Good work.
Congratulations, honey.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We're proud of you.
Great job.
Congratulations. Okay.
They don't get it. Congratulations. I'll agree. I'll agree with that one.
Make us proud.
Yeah, Mama, congratulations. Good job. Congratulations.
Papa, congratulations. Make us proud. Yes, you do, sir. Great job, sir. Big group, Robert. That's a very good group.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Proud of you. Congratulations, man. To have a group this big.
All the way back, please. Ladies, all the way back.
Enjoy yourself?
All the way back.
How many are
All the
you
way
guys?
back. All the way back. All the way back, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, 35, 34. Well, congratulations. I'm very proud of your group. It's going to be fun. A lot.
You have a daughter here? Which one?
What number is it?
The taller ones can get to the back instead of the toes. Go to the side. Go over here to the side. All right, okay. Come with this one. Very look forward, 7 and toes.
Yeah. Get them all away.
And that's the thing, that's why I didn't want to mix it. I want to change it.
Is it 18?
And again, congratulations to our students who continue to make us proud. Developmental School A Cappella Choir, congratulations on your accomplishments.
I think what you want to talk about, you can talk about publicly.
Moving on to item 4, recognition of the Texas Music Education Association qualifiers. Dr. Montoya.
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, one of the purposes for fine arts and music is to always be an all-state musician, and very few achieve that in terms of literally hundreds and thousands of students that go to that mode. And we had 29 from BISD, fine arts, band, and choir students who qualified for this super high honor. Dr. Rendon.
Good evening, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, members of the board. I'm here again. We really did want to, as we recognize at Vela Middle School, it truly was an excellent experience, and we had people there in the audience that honestly thought they were high school students. And of course, we're asking who the director was and wanting to steal her away, and it was like, I don't think so. We are keeping her with us, but it truly was an honor. I'm very proud to stand before you tonight to be able to recognize our high school band and choir students. On February 8th through 11th, 29 band and choir students from BISD participated in the Texas Music Educators Association convention. In order to be part of this prestigious event, the students had to audition along with thousands of other band and choir students throughout the state of Texas. Over 50,000 students entered the all-state audition process this year, and only 2% of them earned spots in a Texas all-state ensemble. Please note that these fine arts students comprise a percentage who scored the highest on SAT exams. The national SAT average is 1,500. The Texas average is 1,462, but the all-state band and choir average is 1,825.
Wow.
We would like to thank Dr. Montoya. He truly was a trooper. We had him going the entire day on the Saturday, right? Concert to concert. I finally had to feed him granola bars because he couldn't eat until the last concert. He was a real trooper, and we really, really do appreciate that, Dr. Montoya. We would also like to thank board members Dr. Saavedra and Ms. Peña, school administrators Ms. Martinez, Ms. Aguilar, Mr. Hernandez, Ms. Longoria, Ms. Solis, and Ms. Valdez for attending the performances in San Antonio and supporting our students. At this time, we would like to share a short PowerPoint presentation highlighting the all-state events. There's nothing on the screen. Can you turn them on? You didn't know how to work them.
There we go.
Should we start it out? Just let it run.
Is that one on?
No. I would like to ask Mr. Dennis Pitcock, Supervisor of Choral Music, and Paul Flinchbaugh, Supervisor of Instrumental Music, to make the choir and band all-state member presentation.
Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, members of the board and administrators, it is my distinct honor to present to you this evening the students who made the 2012 All-State Choir. Out of 14,000 students statewide that began the journey in September, only 500 students were selected to sing in the prestigious All-State Choir. In order for these students to win a spot, They had to endure 6 grueling auditions on 3 separate days over a 5-month period of time. The Hannah High School Choir program placed 4 students in an all-state choir. They are Elizabeth Loop and Ileana Zendejas, women's choir members, Ruben Rocha, men's choir member, and Nathaniel Brown, mixed choir member. The students are accompanied by choir director Jean Holcup, Victoria Crossan, and Lizette Ochoa are the assistant directors.
Good evening, Dr. Escobedo, Dr. Montoya, and members of the board. This year, a total of 16 Brownsville band students earned spots in the TMEA All-State Ensembles. I'm proud to announce that with this total, Brownsville bands have earned more chairs in the Texas All-State bands than any other city in all of TMEA Area G for the 6th consecutive year in a row. And tonight, I'd like to introduce these outstanding young adults to you. This year, the Hannah Band placed a total of 4 students in the All-State bands, and they are senior band member Mark Amador, junior band member Andrew Moser, sophomore band member Mark Mendoza, sophomore band member Jorge Pacheco. The director of bands at Hannah High School is Mr. Dennis Ewing. With us tonight is Dr. Mindy Pyle, assistant band director, and the Hannah High School principal is Ms. Terry Alacro.
Lopez High School Choir placed 2 members in an all-state choir. They are Brenda Flores, women's choir member, and Kathleen Oliveira, mixed choir member. Choir director is Joe Aviar, and assistant director is Ruben Rincon. Maria Lupri is the assistant principal here with the group tonight.
The Lopez High School band placed a student in the All-State band this year. Lopez All-State band member is junior band member Mr. Carlos Zuniga. Band director is Mr. George Trevino. With us tonight is assistant band director Mr. David Ramirez, and assistant principal for Lopez High School with us this evening, Ms. Maria Lepre.
The Pace High School Choir placed 1 member in an all-state choir, placed him in the men's choir. I'd like to present Brandon Binder and his director, Will Armour. Also with them is assistant principal Jim Crichel.
The Pace High School band had 6 students earn a chair in the TMEA All-State bands. This is a total greater than any other band program in all of Region 28 and the highest single school total in all of TMEA Area G. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Pace All-State band members, who are senior band member, first chair trumpet in the TMEA All-State Jazz Band, and 3-year All-State band member, Mr. Jose Carlo Izquierdo. Senior band member, 2-year All-State band student, Ms. Diana Vasquez. Junior band member, 2-year All-State band member, Ms. Jessica Montes. Also junior band member and 2-year All-State band member, Mr. Irving Rodriguez. And junior band member, Mr. Alberto Vasquez. And finally, junior band member and All-State band member, Ms. Jacqueline Reyna. Director for the Pace Band is Mr. Rick Hernandez, and AP with us this evening is Mr. Jim Crichel. Next, from Porter High School, they had 1 student that earned a chair in the TMA All-State Band this year. I'd like to introduce him to you. 2-year All-State band member and a junior at Porter, Mr. Adonis Hernandez. And the band director for Porter High School is Mr. Juan Sosa, and assistant principal with us this evening is Carlos Moreno.
From Rivera High School, I would like to present mixed choir members Jasmine Dela Cruz, Alyssa Martinez, Alexa Solis, John Allen, and Johnny Balzadua, along with their director Charles Williams. Assistant director is Stephanie Cantu, principal Hector Hernandez.
The Rivera High School Band had 2 students earn a chair in the All-State Band this year, and at this time I'd like to introduce them to you. First, senior band member, Mr. Edgar Park, and second senior band member, Mr. Nicholas Garcia. Director for the Rivera Band is Mr. Rolando Zapata, And the principal is Mr. Hector Hernandez.
Veterans High School Choir placed one member in the All-State Mixed Choir. I'd like to introduce Brianna Salas and her director, Linda Holcup. Kenneth Rivens is the assistant director, and assistant principal, Josie Montes, is here with them. Brianna was first chair in her section in Area G.
And the final school, Veterans Memorial High School, had 2 students earn a chair in the 5A All-State Band this year, and we're really proud of what they've done. At this time, I'd like to introduce All-State Band students from Veterans High School. First, junior band member, Ms. Cassandra Baca, and sophomore band member, Mr. Jorge Rodriguez. Director for the Veterans Band is Ms. Elizabeth Stone. We have one special presentation we would like to make at this time. While it is an incredible achievement to do what the students you see before you have done, Mr. Jose Carlos Izquierdo earned an honor achieved by only one student in the entire state of Texas each year. He earned first chair or state champion in the TMEA audition process with his placement as first chair Texas All-State Jazz Trumpet. We're presenting him with a special award for his achievement, which reads Department of Fine Arts Outstanding Achievement Award presented to Carlos Izquierdo, TMEA First Chair All-State Jazz Trumpet. At this time, we'd like to congratulate all of our state qualifiers and thank the board and administration for all your support, which has created an environment where this type of achievement by our students can be done. It's just a great thing. We appreciate all your support. Thank you.
Congratulations. So awesome to see you. Thank you so much. Let me tell you. Awesome. Sir. Congratulations. Very proud of y'all. Have the best. Congratulations. Good job.
I want to see your name. Never stop.
Thank you.
Never stop making music. Never.
They do well.
Thank you.
Never stop making music. Congratulations. Beauty and music come from my mouth. Thank you for your hard work. Congratulations. Oh, these kids are wild. That's awesome.
How are you? Good, good. No, I love it. Yeah, came back. My student, Larry Carlos.
He used to be my student.
Good job, honey.
Good job. He was now he's back as a vendor. Yes. Hi, Pam. How are you doing? Thank you. I remember you. Oh. Good job. How was it?
Good job, sir. Keep it up the work. Wonderful. Good job. Great job again.
Very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
We're proud of you. Did you get a copy? That was like outstanding. Rocking. Wonderful.
Well, I'll let them choreograph it. They know what they're doing. I'm sure.
I'm sure they know what they're doing. I'm time for a croissant.
Everyone look forward. Don't stand on your toes. Oh, go ahead. Go. Oh, you're right. You have to. I forgot this. She's pretty excited.
Okay, 1, 2.
I love him. I bet he is.
No, I'm fine.
Again, congratulations to all of our students that continue to place us on the map, in particular here, the Texas Music Education Association qualifiers. Moving on to item 5, board calendars. Dr. Montoya.
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, just a few quick announcements. This evening at 5:30 to 7:30, the high school open house is taking place at all our high schools. That's why our principals weren't here this evening with their groups. Tomorrow, facilities committee meeting at 4:30. Thursday evening, 5:30 to 7:30, our elementary school open house. And next week, well-deserved spring break holiday for staff and students. And that's it.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Montoya. Moving on to public audience, the next item on our agenda is a public comment period. This is time for citizens, staff, or students to provide your comments to the board. Statements and questions from the audience will not be permitted during other portions of the meeting, so please let us hear from you now if you have comments to present. To have your comments heard tonight, your name and the subject matter of your comments must appear in the sign-in sheet, which is located in the rear of the meeting room. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes to complete his or her comments, and without due courtesy, we will strictly enforce that time limit. If a group of people want to be heard on the same topic, the board asks that they designate a spokesperson to avoid needless repetition. The board has adopted rules to preclude the abuse of open forum by, for example, anyone uselessly repeating the same comment or complaint meeting after meeting. All participants must understand that if your comments, in my judgment, constitute as a complaint against an employer or an officer, I will stop you and direct you to respond to proceed with the BISD formal grievance procedures, be that DGBA, FNG, and GF local. With those cautions in mind, we will not move on to public audience. Our first speaker is Patrick Hammis, and the topic or subject to be discussed is policy, policy, policy.
Good evening, Board President Escobedo, Dr. Montoya, members of the board. My name is Patrick Hammis, and I'm speaking on the behalf of the Association of Brownsville Educators, 4,000 members strong. Dr. Montoya, thank you for the reminder for open houses this week on the board calendar. But just as a reminder, this is Texas Week. In Texas Week, open houses have always been mandatory throughout the state of Texas. And it might have been nice at the very beginning to have a little shout out as you recognize the student success to all the teachers, administrators, and classified personnel that also contribute to their success during this week and throughout the school year. Policies, policies, policies. I misspoke last week at the board policy meeting. I want to thank Jill Graves, former president of AOBE, for sending me emails and correcting me. You had to adopt the financial exigency, even though teacher organizations throughout the state last year opposed it. It is state law. In this policy, part of this carries the new contract law where now employees can be terminated 10 days before the end of the school year, where before we were given a 45-day notice, where unfortunately teachers still must give the district a 45-day notice. Now, again, we know this is state law, and you have no control over it, and you must adopt it, but it might be nice at times to hear the board members and administration to say, we may have to do this, but it is not. It is not a good law, and we oppose it. So just that's for future consideration. Something that's not being presented to you tonight is new policy. Last week we talked. You all talked about administrative guidelines, and we talked about due process for classified employees. It was just something that we've been asking for a long time. In consultation with Dr. Atkinson, we're understanding that this may come in, possibly be presented to you next month as a board regulation, which would be a board policy under administrative guidance. We would like to see the final language on it, but anything that would strengthen employee rights and make sure that due process is followed before they're terminated, we would be for. Another one that's not quite policy, we've had some members who have been called in who are maintenance workers at campuses for double checks on their equipment and inventories. Many of them have been able to document the fact that all the materials are there, and yet they're wondering why their names were unfortunately printed in the report. Finally, a thank you. You are having a policy coming into that we think is very good and very fair and very generous of administration, and that's where employees can, if it is approved tonight, employees who are not eligible for the sick bank, who have suffered catastrophic illnesses, other fellow employees, and it has to be class to class, classified to classified, teacher to teacher, admin to admin, unless it's a direct family member, may donate up to 30 days, rephrase that, may donate up to 10 days of our local leave to that employee, and that employee may receive up to a total of 30 days. We have mentioned, and this is a first-time thing, that if it's catastrophic, 30 days may not be enough, but we are willing to look and see how many people qualify for this, and if more days may be added next year. And we do thank administration for this very much. Thank you, have a good night, and please have a chance to go thank your teachers and administrators for putting in the extra time, not just this week, but every week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James. Our next speaker is Fernando Ruiz. The subject we discussed is business.
Members of the board and Mr. Montoya, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fernando Ruiz. What's happening here in the school district? Money seems to be all over the place because us that are in fixed income, the senior citizens, are having trouble paying our taxes. And you're splurting the money everywhere. The people of Brownsville are very aggravated with this board and this administration concerning the $14.6 million. We want for you all to reverse the decision, and the citizens want to form a committee to meet with the superintendent, and these decisions also have to be made by us. We're the ones that pay the taxes. You are accountable to us. You have disenfranchised us. What is this? What are you running here? We're in violation equal opportunity employment. We just hire whoever we want to. We don't pay attention to the people that apply for jobs that are also part of the community. We have a ratio of 50,000 students to a population of 144,000. Do we have that many children in Brownsville? Are we importing people from all over the world here at our expense when we can't afford to eat any longer? Because when you don't raise the taxes, the person that we have at the appraisal board that doesn't know about the economies of scale, supply and demand, increases the value of properties. completely contrary to the economic fiasco that we have had in the past 6 years. The prices should be decreasing, not increasing. You know, we're tired of this. Who signed on to that 14.6 million? Because, you know, I want some answers. And the people of Brownsville want some answers also. This is completely stupid. From now on, you know, you have to inform us before you make a decision of that caliber. This is the monies of the people. And I want for Mr. Montoya, the superintendent, to meet with me because I want to have a committee of accountability that oversees this board, because we will have the final say-so. Because apparently, you all, none of your attorneys, and the attorney that has recommended that you sign off on our money, you know, is also, I don't know where you are, in limbo or where. You have to be accountable to us. And I want for you all to reverse that, because we need some answers. The people are saying, oye, ¿qué está pasando? What's happening? You think there's something going under the table? I don't know. You all can answer that question for us. Because apparently the people think that there is coercion, malfeasance, and political corruption. What we need also is transparency. We need for the Office of Information, whenever we come here, to release us the information immediately as to the Open Meetings Act and the Freedom of Information Act. I have known Ms. Drew Brown for a long time, and it's the same story all the time. We have to send it to the Attorney General, to the Attorney General. You know what? You need to read the book so you can find out what the law says. I'm not an attorney, but you need to start changing your ways because you're trampling our rights. That is the correct. And you know who doesn't feel comfortable with this? There's the door. And if the coat fits, put it on. Because you know what? We're going to be watching. And I'll tell you what. We need to reverse this, and we want to see the documentation that has to do with the signing off of $14.6 million of taxpayers' money. This is our money, and we want for you to be accountable to us, and there be transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruiz. Moving on to consent agenda items. Item number 9, recommend approval to donate obsolete videotapes and DVDs valued at under $250 to area Title I schools and the Municipal Library of Matamoros until expended. Floor for discussion and questions, Mrs. Peña.
Yes, Dr. Montoya, I have a question on this, being that the obsolete videotapes and the DVDs that are valued under that price, that was purchased with taxpayers' money, which I understand we can give it to Title I schools. But what does the law say about us giving it to a foreign country, being that it's monies that was, or items that were purchased by monies that were generated with tax? I want to make sure that we're not in any violation.
Dr. Montoya?
Okay, Dr. Escudero, members of the board, I believe Ms. Monfiles, you had done some research through the library media services, and I don't know, Leandra, if you have some information on that. So.
Monfiles?
Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, actually we did not investigate legality with regard to a foreign country, but we certainly will do so, and we can, if you would prefer, we can resubmit this agenda for another meeting.
Okay.
And the reason I'm asking only because when it's a foreign country, different things come into play, and I don't want to get caught off guard voting for something that we didn't have the full disclosure and details.
Counselor, do you have an explanation, or would you rather we hold off on this item until we investigate it more in depth?
I can just say generally that let me look to see if there's something in particular with Title I, but generally speaking, a school district, if it determines that something is surplus, can donate it, get rid of it without any further limitation in terms of who the source is. You know, in other words, the fact that it was a different country or local or so on wouldn't make a difference. But let me look specifically at Title I.
I will tell you that in the past, I have actually asked and looked into the possibilities of donating surplus materials, equipment, anything to small community schools, rural schools in Mexico. And I've always been told that it's not legal. Maybe, you know, I'd love for it to actually be legal so we can do it, because there's items that nobody here wants to use that other rural schools will. So that being the case, that would actually open our doors to be able to do some good in this world besides what we're already trying to do. So maybe we can look at it in further detail to make absolutely sure that it's possible to do, not just in this. This is actually a very small value, under $250, but maybe in various values. what did you suggest, that we hold on it, or?
I think to look at a little further, specifically because this is Title I, there may be regulations that affect it.
I'd like to make a motion that we table.
Well, I'm not opening for the motion yet, Mr. Aguilar.
Yes, I think it's a wise move, Mr. Michelle. I think in the past, the district wanted to donate desks into Matamoros, and the same thing about being illegal was stopped. So I'd rather, like Michelle is suggesting, we better look at it very carefully. It's not that we don't give it to anyone, but it's illegal because that's federal monies. It's not state monies.
And if it's not legal, maybe there's some options. Maybe we can donate to a what do you call them, a 501c3, and they can donate to the charity of their choice, or what options do we have? So with that said, I'll go ahead and take Mrs. Peña's motion to postpone this item until further notice. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Aguilar, in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 13, request approval of full-time equivalent FTEs for teacher specialist and project director for the Texas Literacy Grant for 2011-2012 school year. I'll open the floor for discussion, and I'll start by saying, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Atkinson, I kind of saw this last minute, so I apologize if we already have the information, but we're simply opening the positions, or are we approving the qualifications as well? What exactly is it that you would like for us to approve tonight?
Dr. Atkinson, if you'll share that information on that grant, please.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, members of the board. At this time, we're requesting the approval of the FTEs as well as the positions. Once the board reviews and considers and approves this item, both the project director and or the teacher specialist will be announced. I know that Ms. Monfos can probably give you a little bit more in terms of the timeliness, but apparently we have a summit coming up, registration next week already, and they're doing their best to try to meet the needs and the requirements of the grant, but they're on a very tight timeline, unfortunately.
What about as far as the actual qualifications and job duties? Do we have that, or are we approving that tonight as well, or no?
Yes, sir. Dr. Escobedo, what we have is similar to what we've had already for the teacher specialists, as they're called program specialists for 21st century, and the project director for 21st century. According to the grant, it was already embedded in the grant, the qualifications for those two positions.
So the grant tells us what the qualifications
so
are.
already the grant's been approved, and those requirements have already been embedded in the backup.
Okay. Yeah, but my concern was, if we were requiring master's degrees or bachelor's and master's preferred, kind of like we've done with other positions in the past, kind of talk through the qualifications and experience. Not that it matters sometimes, but that's what my concern was.
And in the grant, actually, they've specified already the prerequisites of those positions in terms of requiring a master's. They're supposed to be master reading teachers to begin with for the teacher specialists, and the project director having a master's to supervise other master level teachers.
Thank you. Mr. Aguilar?
Yes, it's standard, Dr. Escobedo, that every time they apply for a grant, they say supervisor or director, however you want to specify it, and that includes all their salary and all the expenses. The only short change about it is that when the money is over, there's no longer that position, and sometimes the district needs to absorb the position. But that's the only
thank you, Mr. Aguilar. Mrs. Presas?
Yeah, this grant will run into, what's the term? That's on the grant.
Go ahead, Dr. Atkinson.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, Ms. Garcia. The grant runs 2 years, but as the original grant ran 2 years, and then it was extended up to, I believe, 7 years. So it is definitely something that the district has already had some success with. And while the district has already committed themselves on an annual basis to absorb those staff members that are grant-related into the regular budget on an annual basis. I think that's been the commitment by the board and by the district as a whole. So those are things that we take into consideration. But it's a very robust grant. It's over $7 million for over the next 2-year period. It's definitely something we want to take advantage of.
Dr. Escobedo.
Peña?
And so for now, we have it for 2 years, is what I'm hearing you say? For now, we have guaranteed 2 years, and then we can renew or continue it. But what is set in stone right now? How long?
This is Dr. Atkinson.
Thank you, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo. Ms. Monfals, you want to go ahead and just commit that it's a 2-year grant?
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, it's a 2-year grant.
Okay.
That is set in stone.
And
Mr. Aguilar?
And the chances are that will be renewed every 2 years. Normally, a grant lasts about 10 to 15 years, or rather 10 to 12 years. So it's for sure that I think, in my opinion, it'll be kind of safe.
Okay.
I have a motion to approve item 13.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mrs. Presa, seconded by
Second.
Mrs. Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed unanimously. And Ms. Perez, Pat Perez, I just want to confirm with you, we moved the order of the day. We moved 15 before 6, but nobody circled it, so that was approved in consent, correct? Want to make sure that was clear. Okay, good, good. Moving on to, okay, let's see, 17, 18 was moved. 19, we are moving on to item 19. Discussion, consideration, and possible action in reference to travel expenses regarding students, teachers, staff traveling out of state. I'll open the floor for discussion. Mrs. Peña, this was your item.
Yes, sir. I've got a question, Dr. Montoya, on this, because I know that last year we had a vote and we authorized the superintendent at the time to authorize travel for students who are going out of state in competition. I think Chess was the one that we were discussing last year. And my question is, I guess, to my colleagues, because I know that we had 10 schools qualify to go to the national tournament for chess, and what happened was that the airline fees changed because it hadn't come to the board yet. And the only reason I know this because I happened to be flying out on a trip, and I ran into someone that was working with these and says, you know, your board hasn't approved the tickets for the students, so they're going up. So I was wondering, what do we need to do to where we can change it, where you can approve it so we can lock in that savings and not end up paying $100 more per student because it didn't make the cut for the agenda?
Let me, Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, let me let Ms. Monfils share some initial information on that issue. So,
Monfils.
Dr. Escobedo, Dr. Montoya, members of the board, Dr. Atkinson and I are in discussion, and we will be submitting a policy change that will actually give that authorization. So we're working on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That answers my question. Thank you.
Mr. Aguilar?
You know, it's kind of strange because about 2 or maybe 2.5 years ago, it was agreed by the previous board that the superintendent could have that option and to approve all this travel. I remember that. So it might not be a written policy, but the board gave authorization to the superintendent. It might be in the minutes somewhere.
If I may,
Peña?
I remember that really well because I was the one that brought it up back then also.
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone made a change to the motion to say just for this year. And
Well, I don't recall
and I
that, but
think,
it's okay. I mean,
you know, what happened was that the people running with it at this in the chess program, they thought that they already had the approval, not realizing that there was a lack of communication there, and that's why it didn't get put on the agenda earlier. But I agree with you. Everyone thought it was blanket, but it wasn't.
Okay, so number 19, no action. Moving on to item 26. Recommend approval of RFP number 12-091 for student email services district-wide. This is E-Rate to Sharp School, Toronto, Ontario. An annual proposal. We'll open the floor for discussion. Mrs. Peña.
Yes, can I get in a nutshell what exactly this is going to be so we can kind of discuss it so the public will have information
Dr. Montoya.
a little more elaborate than what's on there?
on this item, in terms of E-rate, there was an evaluation committee that was created with the instructional department personnel and some campus technology people that would be accessing this. But Ms. Berta Peña, if you'll share more specifics, the reason she shares it is because that department's directly under her.
Ms. Peña.
Thank you, Dr. Montoya, Dr. Escobedo, members of the board. This is E-rate, and they allow up to 90% of whatever is spent to be reimbursed to the district, so it cost us 10%. Last year, I believe it was $177,000, and it really came up to be our cost $17,700. This year, our 10% portion would be $6,265. And what this is that each year, and Dr. Montoya is right, we had a committee of our technology service folks out at the campuses. We had some administrators to come and look at the bids that were submitted so that we can see which would best meet our needs. And as we become more technology driven, we need larger bands of technology of the internet. And so to tell you the truth, this company worried me a little bit because it was from Ontario, Canada, and we said, well, how could they service us? But they have a lot of, they work with lots of school districts in Texas. They work with a lot of school districts in the Valley, and so we felt confident about that. Want to tell you that the company has a federal E-rate SPIN number. They are identified as one of the vendors under E-rate. It was reviewed by purchasing. They work with South Texas ISD, Victoria ISD. There are no startup costs. It was submitted with U.S. tax withholding form, so we know that they're legit and through our federal government, and they'll pass the test with them. And they work with over 2,000 schools and school districts across our nation. I do want to tell you that we have more students using more and more internet, and we need someone that could provide us with more usage and so that we can service our students. I know that we're testing next year online, and because we need more service, we looked for the company that could best serve our needs. We have 3 bids here, and we did use one last year. I believe it was GaggleNet. That's the one we used last year, and they came in at a higher price than we wanted. We felt that we could meet the needs of the district with Sharp School.
Okay, so Dr. Montoya, we've done our research with this company, and we feel that they're adequate and they will meet our needs. Okay.
Have a motion to approve item 26.
Motion.
Have a motion by Mrs.
Second.
Presa, seconded by Mrs. Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to closed meetings pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 et sec. The board goes into closed session for personal matters and legal consultation with attorney.
That works good.
It's supposed to last a year, died.
Well, no, we didn't, but I'm sure
Board reconvenes after closed session. Moving on to items 17 and 18, no action. Moving on to item 30, recommend approval of non-chapter 21 contractual professional personnel for the 2011-2012 and 2012-2013 school year's risk manager. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion to accept by Mrs. Longoria, seconded by Mrs. Presas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, all opposed? Motion passes 6-1. Moving on to item 33, recommend approval to adjust the 2011-2012 contractual days of professional employee. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion to approve item
Second.
33 by Mrs. Presas, seconded by Mrs. Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to consultation with attorney, 41, 42, 43, no action. Moving on to item 44. Do I have a motion to approve item 44?
I motion to approve as per the attorney's, as discussed in executive session.
I have a motion by Mrs. Presa, seconded by Dr. Saavedra. All in favor?
Aye. And for the record also, let me interject there that it is that the superintendent will be sending the notice. The notice will not be coming from the board, and that letter is respected on behalf of the board, that the administration is to send the letter out with his signature advising the law firm.
So item 44 passed unanimously. Moving on to announcements, Dr. Montoya.
Dr. Escobedo, members of the board, just a couple of announcements here. Number one, I think you've noticed in the last board meetings, we've had some interpreter sign language here helping the community, and now we have them on TV so that people at home or as they're watching this can, that population can benefit from these meetings and receive the information. So we're very fortunate in having that item. The other item is this Saturday over at Manzano Middle School. We will be having a full-scale mock drill with numerous community agencies and law enforcement groups to prepare our district and our campuses for safety issues. So everybody is welcome to be there. And also, if I understand correctly here, the next board meeting will not was canceled right after the holidays. And that's it, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Presa, seconded by Mrs. Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously. This meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.
Good night, Brownsville.